Welcome everyone to episode 139 of Raw Sport. My name is Ahmed Al-Huli. We're back with another huge show and a very special guest, the man himself, Australian boxing legend Jeff Horn. Jeff, welcome to Raw Sport.
Thanks for having me, Ahmed.
My
Appreciate
utmost
it.
pleasure. My utmost pleasure. Jeff, how you been, mate? It's been a while since we've sort of heard from you, and how you enjoying this retirement life?
It's still busy. Life's still busy. I've got three little girls. I guess remembers that as well. But look, I'm going out to schools. We're constantly developing the program that we have to make it better and better, to help kids with conflict and bullying, and to make teachers' lives easier out there in schools.
Tell us a bit more about this program.
So what we have 5 levels of the program. There's 10 lessons each level, except for the last level. There's only 5, and it teaches kids all about conflict and managing their social situations. And I feel like it's skills that are lacking in today's society.
Wow. And how many states is that program currently available in?
It's currently in Queensland, but we're in talks with New South Wales and Melbourne at the moment, and
Fantastic.
as well.
Fantastic. Very important program. Many kids do suffer from bullying. Let's hope you guys can make a huge difference to these kids' lives.
Yeah, thank you.
Jeff, you've been away from the sport now for a few years. You were the one who sort of held the flag for many years and revived the sport and carried it on your back. The huge showdown between yourself and Manny Pacquiao, you beat the legend in front of 55,000 people in your home city. We haven't seen that before. That was one of a kind and
Hmm.
will definitely go down in the history books. I want to take you back to that moment. Uh, I believe it was the ninth round. We all thought you were gone, you were in trouble, and just what you were so renowned for, that grit, that hard work. You dug deep and you fought through. Take us through those moments again, mate.
Yeah, look, I think there's no secrets in saying that round 9 is not my round. Definitely don't perform my best in that one. It's where my energy systems, I think, is on the down. But I think Pacquiao was clipping with some good shots in that round, and I felt like the whole fight I was winning rounds, and I was doing well. But the tiredness kind of got to me in that round, and he started clipping me a couple of times, and I saw the dream almost disappearing. Even though I knew I felt like I had to knock the guy out to get the victory, but I was certainly surprised when they announced NU.
Wow. We haven't seen anything similar since. The sport sort of uh, took a bit of a moment. It plateaued a bit. Then we saw the rise of Tim Zhu. You sort of passed the torch on, and Zhu had his run, and now he's coming for his second run after that little dip. How does Jeff Horn see the current state of boxing, sitting on the sidelines?
Yeah, look, I still think we have some extraordinary fighters out there doing some great things. Tim is one of them, but we've got a few different guys out there. George Kambosos did an amazing thing, similar to what I did as well over in the US. We've also got Jai Alpataya. He's an absolute freak who's doing some extraordinary things in the sport as well. So it's still healthy. Thankfully, the sport's still healthy, and we've got some champions out there still.
As an ecosystem, would you say it's moved forward or backwards since your times?
I would say it's moved forward. I feel like there's more guys out there. I don't know if it's because of what I did or not, but I think there's more guys out there with self belief in themselves, and they go, yeah, look, they saw that I could do it, and they know I'm not like the best boxer in the world, but I just had that grit and determination that I was like, I'm going to do this. So I'm hoping that I've inspired some of those guys to go, I will be the best. And I've spoken to Jai a couple of times, and he's just like, his mentality on things is absolutely extraordinary.
We saw Cambosis do what he did. He did something that we haven't seen before. Um,
Mhm.
and then and then we're starting to see individual performances and talents shine on the international stage. But is the sport suffering at the lower end, the grassroots end?
Um, Look, it's always been tricky getting people into boxing at the grassroots way, but I guess all this excitement of the pay-per-views that are kind of going on in boxing, and probably thanks to Dazen and things like that, there's more ability for people to watch boxing at a cheaper rate.
Yeah, I mean, the zone has definitely made the the sport more accessible internationally. It's become the platform for combat sports.
Hmm.
And boxing, a lot of the fights nowadays can be bought and seen on the zone. The other player that we're seeing locally who was bought out by the zone is Foxtel.
Yeah.
Now, Foxtel seems to be the breath of boxing, like the oxygen of boxing in this country.
Hmm.
They seem to be the most invested. Why do you believe we haven't seen similar investment from other networks?
Um, it's a very good question. I don't know. I guess boxing's not normally a mainstream sport. I guess in some countries it is, but we've got a country here in Australia where there's just sports galore, and it's a tough market to kind of break into. And I guess there's a lot of people that are interested and sometimes tune into boxing matches, but it's not something that's watched as often as other sports.
Yeah, because we've seen others dabble in, like now we see Stan doing the dry fight, but we're not
Mhm.
seeing the actual investment that we've seen from Fox. And Fox has done it for a very, very long time. So that there must be some sort of substance in it because otherwise, why would they stick around for so long?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, that they need to show something, and they know boxing's done very well for them in the past. So I guess they're not going to let go of it straight away. And I guess we've still got the fights on Fox Sports and things like that, which is great to be able to have just local guys being able to see, and people who have Hot Fox, they'll be able to watch those fights for free.
Jeff Horn fought at the biggest and the highest level. You fought the biggest names that that were put in front of you. You fought legends. What did Jeff Horn take away from this journey, this experience?
Yeah, I think what I took away is just to, I guess, hopefully inspire the next generation, and for others to believe in themselves. Right? Like I don't feel like I was someone that was supremely good at boxing, but I made a decision, and I had the work ethic and stayed on the course that I needed to stay on to do everything in my power to become a world boxing champion. And that was the dream, that was the goal, and I got there.
You had a rather unorthodox style. Do you think that worked to your advantage?
Come on, what are you talking about? Nah, yeah. Definitely. It was definitely a shock to the system for some of the guys that I came up against. And yeah, it was that broken rhythm pressure fighting is what Glenn called it, and it kind of upset a lot of guys. I had kind of a different style to a normal kind of boxer, but I think that threw them into that I was hitting them with shots that they were normally not getting hit with. So I think it was an advantage for me to have that.
Take me through a moment that you really were able to take in and embrace the moment because the journey goes past very quickly. And most common you hear from athletes is that I didn't take it in enough. Like we didn't embrace it enough.
Yeah,
What's that one moment that really took Jeff Horn in and he got into the moment and he felt and he enjoyed every single second of it?
yeah. Well, I guess when you're talking about a moment, is the moment that I can't forget with the world boxing title against Manny Pacquiao. I can still remember the feeling And talking about it, I still get kind of goosebumps talking about that moment when it was NU and I got crowned the new world boxing champion. So that moment will never leave me, and yeah, it was an extraordinary time in my boxing career.
Was there a sense of nervousness on top of the nerves that you normally have walking into the fight that you're fighting Manny Pacquiao? Like, did that add more to the nervous system?
No, I tried not to kind of think about that too much. That I was fighting Manny Pacquiao, like it was like I'm just fighting a person, 2 arms, 2 legs. They can only do what a human can do, right? So I was kind of making him not up there, but making him someone that I could beat. And like everyone else I'd come up against until Manny Pacquiao, I defeated them. And he was just in the same basket. And I wasn't kind of, yeah, I just wasn't putting him on a pedestal.
For other fighters who are coming up and have these big fights ahead of them, take us through that thought process. That's actually really, really important. That if you can put away the noise and focus on the individual, it makes a big difference. And you've proven that. What techniques or methods did you use to actually do that?
Yeah, I think my brain can just automatically kind of shut off that emotional part where, like, yes, I'll feel myself start to worry and start to think too much and play situations out, but it's keeping yourself distracted in those moments too. And then just sometimes where you do get the moments come in, you just think positive. So I might have a bad thought come into my head and I picture the wrong thing, and like it might be have been Manny Pacquiao knocking me out or embarrassing me in front of 52,000 people almost, but I yeah, kept strong and revisited and changed the imagery in my mind and was like, no, that's not going to happen. This is what's going to happen, and I just stayed positive always.
I'm sure that week would have been one that was filled with a ton of media.
Hmm.
Him being the legend he is. How'd you manage all that?
I just went with the flow, right? Like I wasn't too used to. Thankfully, I was with a promoter at that stage that did get me used to getting in front of the camera and talking, which is, I guess, I feel like wasn't a good important thing for me to kind of get used to that talking in front of a camera because I feel like the first time I ever did it, it's like, whoa, like this is really weird, and getting the mic set up and all that. You don't want this stuff to be completely alien to you when you go into a big fight like this. So I was used to it, and I was ready to take on anything.
Yeah, because many fighters, a lot of the times you see the media week is, and they go into big fights that they've never experienced before. The media week is different. The whole occasion is different. So they get overwhelmed. So that's why
Yeah,
I sort of ask these questions to sort of get that insight to give to other fighters so they understand that experience and what it's like. It's not foreign to them.
yeah, yeah. That's it, and that's what exactly what you just said. Then it's experience and trying to get yourself out of your comfort zone if you're not comfortable in front of the camera or with people always kind of giving you the attention. It's good to kind of get that as much as possible if you can before you jump into the deep waters.
You fought Terence Crawford.
Mhm.
Terence has gone on since then to be arguably the number one pound for pound. He beat the biggest superstar in boxing, Canelo Alvarez, in front of 70,000 people. One of
Mhm.
the biggest occasions we've seen in the sport in many years. What's Terence like inside the ring?
Oh, frustrating. Look, I had the wrong probably game plan for Terence, but I think he's just a smarter fighter. So he knew that what I was going to try and probably do because he probably studied the Manny Pacquiao fight. It was like, I'm going to make this guy run onto my punches. And it's exactly what he did. And I knew that I had to take the fight up to him because I knew I was never going to get the decision if I wasn't able to rough him up and be on the front foot in that fight. And he definitely used that against me.
Jeff, you fought at home on the biggest stage and you fought overseas in America on the biggest stage. What's the difference?
Look, I love fighting in Australia at home in a stadium an open air stadium where you grew up watching games and sport. So I think that's a much bigger feeling seeing that. But indoor, I feel like when it's dark and there's lights everywhere, it could be there could be 50,000 people in there because it's so small, right? And the walls are so close. The noise in a indoor stadium is quite loud as well.
What about behind the scenes stuff? Is it a lot more trickier?
Look, I can't really remember to be honest. I know there was heaps of walking around when it was a stadium fight, but normally when you're um, in a convention center or something, there's just you're in one room. They move you over to another spot just before you go out, and then you walk out. Whereas I feel like at a stadium, you're kind of walking a fair bit.
Wow. Um, Jeff, you've had an awesome career. Many would die to be, in those shoes. Any regrets?
uh, I guess when I lost, I guess the regret is losing. But sometimes I feel like I didn't get that choice. Uh, I probably underestimated a few people, and I had the wrong strategy in some of the fights. Not necessarily strategy that my coach kind of said, but I think your mindset going into fights needs to be respectful. You need to have complete faith in your ability, and you've done all the work. And I feel like if you just go to that game plan, normally you'll do very well. But sometimes whenever I tried to go out there and knock the guy out or thought I was stronger than them, these are the times that I lost.
Wow. Jeff, we currently have one of the most fierce cruiserweights in the world, and many label him as the best. His name is Jai Pataya. Fight week this week. You personally know Jai. Um, Australia hasn't really embraced him, Jeff. He hasn't got the Jeff Horn hug, as they say. Why is that, you reckon?
uh, I don't know. I can't answer that question. Or if I could, I guess they would know it probably too and go, well, I don't know. I think it is Jai's so focused on pure boxing and just getting the job done that he doesn't want any other distractions. And I guess he probably doesn't want probably that media kind of hype around him because he's so focused. He's laser focused, Jai. So you can't fault the guy because eventually he'll get it right. Eventually, people will start noticing more and more that we've got an absolute champion out here in our local, just around the corner. So he'll get there.
I mean, Terence Crawford is a perfect example. For many years, he was shied away from, and then he stuck by his guns, and then he got the mega fight.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we sort of wrap things up, you've been very generous with your time.
It's all right.
Who 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 do you think will be that next torchbearer for the sport
Oh
internationally,
gosh, that's a hard
holding the
question.
Australian flag?
Yeah. Uh Look, we've got so many good guys out there, right? But I guess holding the Australian flag at the moment has got to be Jai. He's, I think he will just keep improving and keep proving people wrong, and hopefully he gets the big fights. And um, he's seen as one of the best out there because he is.
Wow, I can't disagree with you there. Uh, Lastly, who was this? Who was the one fighter that you were looking up to growing up?
Ah, that's I've said this before, and it's crazy. And that was Manny Pacquiao, right? Like someone. to go to do what he did, going up the weight divisions and destroying people. And I even went to his the fight that he had with Mayweather. He was an incredible athlete and someone that I looked up to in the way that he held himself as well. He was never disrespectful to people, and he just did his talking with his fists, and he did that very, very well. And I guess that's someone who I did look up to in the sport.
There's a saying that says you never meet your idols because you'll change your opinion will change of them. Has your opinion changed?
Well, I never met my idol in that way. I got to fight them right straight away, and I didn't really have too much to do with Manny kind of after the fight. But I know he sent me messages and stuff of when I've been given some awards. So I'm really appreciative of Manny and what he's done with that.
Wow. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeff Horn. Jeff, before we wrap things up, do you have any parting words for us, mate?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered most things. But if you're struggling out there with your kids, because I know a lot of people have got kids out there in schools, um, reach out to us at Bullyproof Australia, and we can help because we're giving the kids the skills in schools.
Website, phone number?
Bullyproofaustralia.org.au, and I don't have a number on me.
That's all right. I'll put that in the show notes. People can click the link and go straight to the website. Jeff, I want to thank you very much for joining me on Raw Sport. Thank you to all those that attended. And that brings us to the end of the